right, we got the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday in Las Vegas, Nevada. The stage is set for the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. And two things are at play here. It's going to be the power of wills. As you've looked at the San Francisco 49ers, over the course of the regular season, they gave up 30 points or more just twice. Once to the Cincinnati Bengals, once to the Baltimore Ravens. Other than that, it was mainly a clean sheet with most of their scores 20 or lower all season long. As we've gotten into the playoffs, though, we have seen a steady decline at the end of the regular season. They give up 21 points to the Green Bay Packers and then 31 to the Detroit Lions. There's been something that it's been a bend and break defense of late for the San Francisco 49ers, especially early in games. Now, you should give credit where credit is due in that if you look at what they've been able to do in the fourth quarters of games, they've been very good. And the second half, really, against the Detroit Lions was exceptional for the San Francisco 49ers. But you have that defense needs to be what we saw over the course of the majority of the regular season and not what we've seen in the back half of the regular season and really the playoffs, to be quite honest, when they've been playing better competition.
I wanted to take a look at this real quick just to kind of get an understanding of when it happened and kind of what followed after. And I start to wonder how much Hufunga's absence has meant to them. You
go back to November 19th, and when Talanoa Hufanga got juked out of his britches against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Literally shredded his knee.
And Rashad White just went, and his knee went
the other way.
That is where you can kind of say, all right, that was the signal for things turning. But in the three games immediately after that, they played Seattle twice and Philly once. They were really good, but they gave up 29 to Arizona, 33 to the Baltimore Ravens. They played the Washington Commanders, who were just mailing it in, and then the loss to the Rams at the end of the regular season. I mean, that really was a turning point of, all right, is this defense the same as what we saw early in the year? And I think more teams, to be quite honest, and Hufunga's physicality plays a little bit of a role in this. They haven't been good against the run all season long, though. And I think as the season wears on and you get into those later months of the year, and especially in the playoff time, you have to run the damn ball. And that's what all of these teams that are having great success do, is run the football, especially outside the tackles.
Which is really interesting when you think about like the guys that the 49ers have in that front and how physical and versatile they are. And yet they do struggle against the run. You would think having guys like Bosa, that you would think with the size that they've had up front, the addition of Chase Young. Now, are these guys stout against the run? No, but they're also athletically, strength-wise, leverage-wise, some of the most physical components that you can imagine dealing with. So you would think that they would at least be capable, but they've just gotten the crap kicked out of them when push comes to shove, quite literally on those levels. That the Long brothers, they've got their podcast. They have the Penei Sewell like appreciation reel from that game of him pulling out.
Dude,
and
amazing.
The damage that he did, particularly in that first half to the 49ers, just on kickouts and on pulls and coming across. They just got mauled, and it reinforced further why the Lions got away from the run. It just killed me. But it wasn't like, the 49ers are competing on the line of scrimmage here. They were just getting throttled. Mm-hmm. And it's just, you start to wonder kind of how that's going to look if they can't even be competitive at the line of scrimmage in the impact plays, whether it's the third and shorts, the first downs, which the Chiefs absolutely killed in those first two drives was keeping everything second, third, and manageable because they were just getting chunks on first downs.
Well, the Javons have been really bad against the run all season long. Javon, Hargrave, and Kinlaw. They have, over the course of the year, they've been the weak spot. And it's kind of interesting because everything works inside out. And when you have your defensive tackles who they're getting kind of bullied around, then it opens things up on the outside. It's amazing how that works, right? Because what you have to do as a defense is you have to use linebackers to fill inside.
Pinch inside.
And then all of a sudden, boom, the outsides get exposed a little bit more. And Chase Young, for as high as he was drafted, there's a reason why he was on the market at all.
Yes.
Via the Washington Commanders. And it wasn't
just health.
No, it has been a tough putt for him. And then Bosa is just good. Nick Bosa is an animal, and he has lived up to every bit of hype that he has gotten. But whether it's the Javons or Young, and especially when you have those guys on the same side, just look at what Detroit started doing when you start motioning Penei Sewell to create mismatches.
Motioning that man is terrifying.
But that is kind of where that run game, and then all of a sudden you have to start creeping up, and boom, the passing game opens up for you. And that is where the bend but don't break defense turns into a bend and break defense. Yeah. On the flip side of it, though, and look, there is something to San Francisco has won these games, and you mentioned, like, why Detroit went away from it, because schematically, San Francisco is telling you, we are not going to let this happen anymore. And then the fumble from Jahmyr Gibbs obviously
reinforces
that. Did not help the situation at all. But then the pressure starts to mount, and you're not going to get that wavering from Kansas City like you did Detroit or Green Bay, for goodness sakes. You will get their best shot in they know who they are and an awareness of who they are, and they won't go away from it. And that's the beauty of Andy Reid. That's always been the beauty of Andy Reid. It is,
but also because they have to.
It has hurt them at times when he was like in Philadelphia, right? But it still is the truth with Andy Reid. He knows his game plan is ironclad because he is one of the smartest offensive minds in football
ever.
And you see how they come out in games and their adjustments, they're minor tweaks. They're not sweeping overhauls.
You're not taking,
changing their identity,
throwing it in the trash.
They're patient with what they are and who they are, and it pays dividends for them, especially when you have a quarterback like Patrick frickin' Mahomes. Yeah. But one thing that they have had to lean on, and they haven't looked as scattered when everybody's like, the offense is in disarray, Well, they have committed to the run more with Isaiah Pacheco, and their receivers have caught the damn ball. And that's where it comes down to. Which one will it rear its ugly head again and the drops come back this week in the most important game? Because they've been super reliable all throughout the playoffs.
But in the regular season, where we have the larger sample size, just greased pigs everywhere. Just couldn't hold on to it.
So does that rear its ugly head again? Or do we see the 49ers defense, which was very good during the regular season, kind of settle in and revert back?
Larger sample size. And that's always kind of the thing is you take a look at how things shape up. If I told you that Joe Flacco had his run that he did as a Ravens quarterback that got him paid, that goes against the grain of what we've seen. But that's also not normal entirely. You get teams where you go on runs and spurts and things go well, but usually after a month of it, all those storylines kind of go out the window come Super Bowl time.
And that's it. That is where you have got, and with the 2 weeks of preparation, I think that is kind of like the recenter time for the San Francisco 49ers.
Where you become who you were and not who you've been.
Because as we noted, like, they took it away in the second half from Detroit, and they said, you will not beat us here. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you get with Bosa, Armstead, and Chase Young, they just say, pin our ears back and go. Pin our ears back and go. You know, it may benefit San Francisco from a game plan standpoint to have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes who creates, and you don't pin your ears back and try to get to Patrick Mahomes because that is a fool's game right there. How many times have we seen him just step up, slide over, create some more time, and then all of a sudden
duck to Travis Kelce, get caught in the middle of the field?
Yeah, he's throwing from the left numbers to the right hash and saying, I can make that throw.
Yeah, I've got that in my bag.
Creating 7 seconds and finding a guy come open. So it may benefit San Francisco to be like, you guys cannot be ultra aggressive. You can't just pin your ears back and go here. But then again, you could see what Mahomes has been doing is saying, I've felt out every single one of these receivers throughout the course of the season. I'm done with it. I trust Rashee Rice. I trust Travis Kelce. And they may have gotten a damn fine boost that we weren't anticipating before. Jerick McKinnon has been activated off the IR, who is another great receiving running back who just so happens to have some familiarity with the San Francisco 49ers.
Might be useful.
He played for them. Also,
always better to feel out than feel up.
Well, it depends.
Yeah,
Depends.
Well, particularly your wide receivers.
Okay. Yep. That's good and noted. Absolutely noted.